Hello, and welcome back to the channel. As you can see here, let's start another Kit Quest career mode. Another one in FIFA 21. So we're kind of sticking with FIFA 21 for a little bit, so I'll quickly just introduce the team, player, kit, and all that good stuff. So as you can see here, you're playing as Fortuna Düsseldorf in the second Bundesliga. So should be a fun one. Another kind of lower Division 1, lower tier side kind of one in FIFA 21. So it should be fun trying to get promoted and all that good stuff. So you have Fortuna Düsseldorf is the club. In terms of the player, it is, probably, as you probably guess, it is Kevin Danso. He was on loan at Dusseldorf for the 2020-21 season from Augsburg. And the kit is this nice red home kit he is sporting here. Because he had obviously a pretty decent season alone. Dusseldorf scored 2 goals, and both goals came at home. So obviously the right kit this is their home kit, so that's the kit we're going to be rocking with as the kind of kit. And the kit part of the kit quest, and the kit quest player is Kevin Danso. Here, part of the Europa League winning squad and all that good stuff. So should be fun. So obviously for sort of business, after I finish this intro, we'll be bringing him in on a permanent. So I think which we do have I think enough budget for his value's at 4.9 million. I think our budget's like 9 or 10 mil. 8. So oof, I guess almost 9. So but we should have enough to bring him in. So in terms of kind of how they did that year, they finished 5th in the second Bundesliga and got knocked out in the second round of the Cup. So should, I guess, basically like how them at the worst, you should potentially be able to hopefully turn some of those losses and draws into wins or draws, and kind of maybe get into the promotion playoff spot or first or second. But in terms of, I guess, the last thing to wrap up would be board objectives and stuff here. I guess we look at the tactics quickly. Actually, they're playing what are the 4-4-2 holding. So you had 2 DMs, and then kind of behind the ball, kind of low depth, kind of very narrow, and kind of a low block. So kind of a long ball, kind of pump the ball up quickly. Yeah, so that's interesting kind of style. I don't mind it. And kind of looking at instructions, so defenders are kind of normal. Fullbacks kind of one's more balanced, and then one more balanced, and one's more attacking. Let's just see those 3 instructions. That's not bad. The 2 wide midfielders, kind of one's cut inside, one's kind of more balanced. And then 2 DMs, one's kind of obviously more defensive, staying back while attacking. The other one's kind of more mixed. And the 2 strikers, one's kind of can stay central, go out wide. And then one's kind of more target guy, stay in the center, probably hold the ball up and kind of get the ball out to him, probably making runs in behind, or the 2 wingers / midfielders. So that should be interesting, kind of classic 4-4-2 long ball style stuff, and the low block should be kind of interesting to try and play with. And then kind of last thing, I guess, in this is the board objectives. Let me get my little spreadsheet open. It's the right tab so I can type them in. So youth development, they want 2 players, 2 under 20. But I think Kevin Danso's 21, so he's not going to count for that. So I'll probably him and the 2 cheap youngsters. Brand exposure is, okay, replace 3 players. I'm not really sure. I guess that means we sell 3 players and sign 3 other players, I guess. I don't really know. We'll find out. But I guess between Danso and the 2 youngsters, I guess that's 3 signings, so we should be able to do it. And then, okay, so they want sell to buy. Okay, so a lot of selling and buying of players here. Sell 2, buy 2. Okay, they want us to finish first, which again they finished 5th that year, so that should be kind of somewhat hard. And then the cup round of 16, which they got knocked out in round 2, so that's going to be kind of hard. And continental success, obviously we're in the second Bundesliga, so we're not in Europe. So there's a lot of basic things are all about just generic buying and selling of players. So as Kevin Danso, the kind of teams we're going to be pooling players from are obviously Augsburg, where he's on loan from, Southampton, where he was on loan the previous season, Lens, and then Spurs. The internationals, kind of, can't find anyone who fits in those areas, is from Greece. So should be kind of interesting pool of players to pick from there. Probably going to be a lot of Greek guys because they're going to probably potentially be lower overall and more willing to come to a second Bundesliga side than players from like Spurs or Southampton or anything like that. So we shall see, I suppose. But yeah, so probably going to be one that takes another one, like the Keglier one that takes a couple seasons to get us to silverware because they're probably going to get knocked out early in the cup and then going to try and get promoted into the Bundesliga, and it's probably going to take us a while to potentially sniff a Bundesliga title. So it's going to be kind of the cup is going to be our main probably avenue to silver for the first couple seasons. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so hopefully you do enjoy this, and I'll be kind of stop talking for now. In a couple seconds, will be the 2020-21 season recap. Okay, so here we are at the end of the 2020-21 campaign of our Fortuna Düsseldorf Kit Quest career mode with Kevin Danso as the Kit Quest player in that sexy home kit that Pedersen is wearing there as he holds the May Player of the Month award. But yeah, so this is the season recap part. So we're getting into how he did in the two competitions, the league and the cup, and then kind of board goals, transfers, all that, all that good stuff as per usual. So let's get right into it with the league. So as you can see here, Bundesliga 2, second division of Germany, we finished top of the second division, won the second division title with 81 points, 25 wins, 6 draws, 3 losses, so a pretty impressive campaign there. I think we were both the best offense and defense in the league, 68 goals for, 30 goals against, for a 38 goal difference. And the final gap is that's 14 points between us and Hamburg. We ended up clinching the title with a handful of games to spare, I think. We clinched it in match week 31 with 3 matches to spare. The 3-2 home win against Karlsruhe with a David Konaki brace and a Randall Colomani goal. Pretty sure Konaki's second was the one that was the title clincher. But yeah, pretty impressive display in that match. Ended up winning 3-2, clinching the title. A couple matches to spare, which is pretty solid. So then I see Hamburg is obviously the other, as you can see there, the other team going up to the Bundesliga with us. And then Heidenheim made the playoff against whoever finished 16th. Well, yeah, no, 16th? No, yeah, 16th, I think, we'll find out in a second. 16th in the Bundesliga. Obviously, there's no Europe stuff because this is the second division, so it's kind of just promotion and relegation. So if you scroll all the way to the bottom here, 3 teams that got relegated were Eintracht Braunschweig and Würzburg Kickers, both finished on 25 points and got relegated automatically to the third division of Germany. And then St. Pauli, which is the German club I support, unfortunately finished in the relegation playoff place against a team from the third division with 26 points, 7 wins. But the gap was pretty decent there between them and Jan Regensburg, and 15th was at a 9-point gap, so that's 3 matches worth of wins pretty much, separating the relegation spots from everyone else. But yes, that's the league, so pretty solid campaign there. But obviously winning the second division, obviously we do get a trophy for it, so if we win nothing else, that'd be it. And in the next, if we hadn't, whatever, give me a second there. Yeah, so even if we don't end up winning anything else in the rest of the career mode, that's all we end up winning, I would count as success just because of that. But for now, it's not counting as a success because it's only a second division title. But you do get a silverware and a little video and everything like that for it. So yeah, but we shoot for higher things here on the channel for major piece silverware, so for like top flight titles and cups and all that good stuff. So yeah, so a pretty solid league campaign. In terms of, I think the next thing will be the cup. So in terms of the DFB Pokal, as you can see, round 1 we got matched up against Darmstadt, and that season Düsseldorf won their first round matchup and then got knocked out in the second round. So I played this first round matchup against Darmstadt, won 3-2 with a brace from Ioha and a goal from Randall Colomani, with kind of pretty tight, another tight match there, as you can see. So a lot of tight matches playing in the second division. But we were able to make it onto round 2 of the cup, where we are on the second page here and got matched up against another second division side in Erzgebirge. Probably mispronounced that, I apologize, but that's my best attempt. So as I said, that because Düsseldorf got knocked out in the second round, I quick simmed the match and we won 2-0 with goals from Edgar Prib and Couturier, our left back, with Edgar Kripp being man of the match in that one. So pretty solid display there from our defensive mid and our left back, chipping in with goals to see us through to round 3 of the Cup. So the rest of these rounds from here on out, I would have looked on SofaScore, last 5 results, starting from obviously the 2021 season backwards, chucked them in a randomizer, and then see what happens. So for round 3, once again, got matched up against a second division side in Paderborn, and chucked the past results in the randomizer and got quick sim. So I quick sim the match. We drew 1-1 after extra time, with one goals from Randall Colomwani, and then we beat them 4-3 on pens to advance to the quarterfinals, where we were matched up against one of the Bundesliga big boys in Eintracht Frankfurt. Again, as I said, chucked in the randomizer, and it got quick sim again. So I was like, oh, we're probably toast here in the Cup. Closed my eyes, fingers crossed, quick simmed and all that, and we won 2-1. A bit of an upset there, with goals from Sabaka and Hoffman. So I was like, I think the only goal from a center back the entire season was that one from Hoffman there to send us through to the semifinals of the DFB Pokal. So then semifinals, match up against another Bundesliga side in FC Augsburg, which is where Danso was on loan at Düsseldorf from. And then once again chucked it in the randomizer and got quick sim again. So kind of 4 quick sim rounds in a row, round 2 to the semifinals. And again, so I was like, I had more hopes. Augsburg's kind of not obviously not as big of a side as Frankfurt. So I was like, maybe we could sneak a win or like a penalty win or a win in extra time or something. And we won 1-0 with the singular goal that sent us to the final at the Olympiastadion, being from Christopher Pedersen. And that was probably could tell here. I'm going to actually read out the kind of shot stats. So we had 2 shots on goal, 2 shots in the entire match to 6 for Augsburg. So obviously, kind of playing kind of low block behind the ball counter football. We were able to make it to the finals playing that against the top tier sides. And then in the finals too, we got matched up against RB Leipzig, where I again chucked it in the randomizer and got draw. So I slow sim the match and then had to hop in twice to try and equalize after Leipzig had went up 1-0 and 2-0. So the first goal was from Hennings, and then I went down 2-1. I think their first 2 goals were from Anthony Martial. And then while we were 2-1 down, and I was playing the match, I took a pen, fitting a foul in the box, penalty with Hoffman, kind of slide tackle trying to block a Huang Hee-chan shot that he ended up missing anyways. I don't know if I had gotten a deflection on it or not, but I ended up taking a penalty on the follow through, and Huang Hee-chan converted it. We went down 3-1, but I was able to claw it back to 3-3 with 2 goals from Randall Colomwani. Nice through balls from Hennings. We were able to just kind of set him up, and he was able to slot home some finishes. Then it went to extra time. Nervy there. No goals in extra time. We went to pens, where I was able to convert 4 successfully. And then I think it was the second round, the second or third round, Marcel Sabitzer stepped up to the spot and dinked it off the crossbar. So I think it was the second round even. So I was up pretty early on. I was clenching really hard, making sure I locked in, focused, really nervous, trying to convert my pens as it would convert mine. And then at the end, as you'll probably see in the kind of the video footage from the trophy ceremony and the highlights of the Cup final, I was able to make a save on, I forget who. It's one of the what was his name? Oh my God, it's the left back guy. I think that's his name. Oh, I can't remember. Hold on. Oh, Benjamin Heinrichs, I think. There we go. From him, I was able to save his pen in the 4th round and win 4-3 on pens. So this is a successful Kit Quest career. Pretty hype. They're going on a Miracle Cup run with Fortuna Düsseldorf there and taking out a couple of the Bundesliga big boys along the way to a trophy there. So technically we did a double. We did the Bundesliga 2 and the Cup. So pretty solid stuff there. So yeah, pretty excellent season from us. So I guess it's kind of, now that we've kind of know the success, we just kind of chillax here and check out the other competitions and everything else before we wrap up. So relegation match, looks like Heidenheim could not topple Union Berlin. So Heidenheim will stay in the Bundesliga 2 for next season. Union Berlin would stay in the Bundesliga. The other one, that one's I guess aggregate, but St. Pauli survived thankfully and stayed in the second Bundesliga with aggregate of 3-1 against Hattring. Then there's preseason, which doesn't really matter much. Super Cup, Bayern beat Sevilla, kind of unsurprising there. Champions League, Bayern beat Barcelona on pens to win back-to-back Champions Leagues. And then Arsenal somehow cheated their way to a Europa League, beating Leverkusen on pens. So yeah, that's back to the league. So that's all the competitions we participated in. So we'll go check out, refresh the board goals. So we can kind of use that to go into transfers and stats and other things like that. So let's see, my manager rating 99, so pretty solid stuff there. As I would probably hit most of the board goals. So youth development, signed 2 players under 20. So kind of getting a little bit into the transfer business. The 2 players under 20 were Jed Spence for 1.8 million from Middlesbrough. As a right back, so we only had 1 right back in the squad, so I needed like a backup kind of youngster guy who could potentially overtake or starter eventually. That was Jed Spence. And then the other one was a backup keeper, which I signed Konstantinos Solakis from Olympiacos. He's a 17-year-old goalkeeper, 63 overall for 1.1 mil euros. So as I said, like the clubs that we were kind of pulling from were Augsburg, Southampton, Lens, Spurs, and then for internationals it was Greece. So we assigned one Greek international there in the window. In terms of brand exposure, this one I honestly have no clue how this works, but I somehow completed it, replaced 3 players from the team. I have no idea how that works, to be honest, but I guess I completed it through our kind of signings and our stuff. We'll get the rest of them in a second. Financial, I don't think we're going to technically complete this one because I think we have a bunch of unspent transfer budget, which we'll look at in a second. But sell 2 players, we'll get into the sales in a second. And the 2 crucial players we signed, the first one was Kevin Danso, making his loan a permanent move from Augsburg for 4.9 million euros. And then the second one was Randall Colomwani from Nantes for 6.4 million euros. So honestly, was originally going to sign for my 2 under 20 players was going to be the goalkeeper, which we signed, and then a young Irish striker from Southampton. But he literally turned 20 or 21 or whatever, a couple days into the season, so I hadn't even finished scouting him yet by the time he turned aged out of being a match for the youth development goal. So I was like, I don't know, I guess I'll have to figure someone else out to sign. And then kind of we played, as you probably saw, we were going through I skipped over the preseason tournament, but we played in the tournament and then the final Nantes, which is where Reno Colomani was at that point. And I was like, all right, I'll sign him. Because he faced him in the preseason, be like, oh, I was impressed by him there, and kind of was like, oh, let's scout him and sign him in. So those were our 4 signings. In terms of domestic success, obviously win the title we did, and then reached the round of 16 in the cup. We won the cup, so obviously we completed that one as well. And then no continental ones because we were obviously not in Europe. That's the second division side. Yes, we had, I guess, not that much left. We had 5.82 million in leftover budget, but not here nor there because it's a success. We're not to worry about potentially getting sacked for not completing that objective, especially considering our ratings at 99. But in terms of the other transfers, mostly kind of sales and then loans out. We'll kind of look at it here. Yes, there's the Kevin Danso move. One of our sales, bring in Jed Spence. Another sale. This was our biggest sale, I think. It was Caraman to Crotone in Italy for 2.8 million euros. Let's bring in Solakis and Ryan Colomwani at the end of July. Then a loan out for some of our young midfielders, and then another big sale here. Plato to Brentford for 1.55. Another kind of loan out for some of our youngsters. Sale there, loan. A couple of short-term loans I think for these guys. Yeah, they're all short-term, and then I signed Mitch Ruskin to a 1-year extension, and then was able to sell him after the January window for 1.35 mil. So then kind of last, but certainly not least, looking at the stats here. So Castemeyer, he was our starter. He played the vast majority of the matches. And he finished tied for second in terms of clean sheets with 8 in the league, which is pretty solid there. Solakis obviously made a handful of appearances, mostly in the league, kind of before or after cup matches, and then 1 match in the cup. Primary left back was Coutrice here. He scored, as I mentioned before, 1 of the goals in the cup and had an assist in the league. Center X said Hoffman, the only goal he had was the one in the cup that sent us through. Kevin Danso had 2 assists, 1 in the league, 1 in the cup. 12 clean sheets with an average match rating of 6.8, which is pretty solid, I'd say, from Big Kev. Other center backs, kind of right backs, Jed Spence, limited game time, but 1 assist in 14 matches, pretty solid stuff. Our kind of center mids, left mids looking pretty good. Just trying to look. Oh, here we go. There we go. Pedersen, he had 6 assists, which is tied for tied for 4th in the Bundesliga 2. There's kind of our right mids. Then kind of strikers where most of our kind of good stats were at. So David Kanaki here, he also had 6 assists in the league, so he was tied for 4th as well. Then had 13 goals, which is 10th technically in the league. Headings here was one of our main 2 kind of starting strikers. He had 14 goals, which is good for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tied for 6th in the league there, and then he had 13 assists, which was 1st in the Bundesliga 2. Then Randall Colomani was our star here, kind of our best player this season with average match rating of 7.8. So trying to see so he won the Golden Boot with 20 goals in 30 matches, then finished 2nd with assists in 9 and 30 matches. So really solid stuff there from Randall Colomani. So he was a lot of fun to use. But yeah, just leaving it over here on Big Kev. So yeah, this is a success. Obviously, winning Bundesliga 2, as I mentioned at the beginning. Even though we won that, if we hadn't won anything else, we would have still continued on for another season. But it would have counted in the end if we had gone through the entirety of Kevin Danso's contract and not won anything. But we won the cup. So this is another successful Kit Quest career mode. It was a lot of fun playing the German 2nd division. Kind of like a shorter season, so kind of able to move quickly. The matches like playing as a more like kind of low block counter-attacking, like long ball 4-4-2 kind of style was a lot of fun. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one. In terms of what's next, it'll probably be another Jersey Quest franchise mode. I think it would be a goalie. If that's the case, it would be a goalie one, because obviously the last one we did was the Kyle Poso Sabres one. So it would be a goalie one, I think, if that's what it is, up next. But hopefully you enjoyed this, and hopefully you check that out as well. Thank you.
Crowd, absolutely top of the pile. That's all you can do when you start off pre-season. You see this moment in your mind's eye. They've got their brilliant season. It really has been.
Their goal to be the best team in the league, and they've hit the target.
Well, Derek, there'll be definitely times this season where the form has dropped, we've had injuries, etc. Almost seems like a pipe dream to look at these moments now. But they'll celebrate long into the night, I'm sure.
Well, memories for players in these situations, Lee.
Well, it's always nice to win any trophy, cup competitions, but when you win your own domestic league, that to me is the pinnacle of being a player.
Yeah, the table does not lie. And so, the league champions.
Yeah, brilliant. They deserve it. They really have been the best team this season. And that's where you end up, top of the pile.
And not by accident either. All part of the master plan, and the trophy is theirs.
Well, this is the best moment for me, sharing things with the fans. They've deserved everything they've got this season. The players have, but certainly the supporters. They've given the players absolutely 100% support all season, and this is their reward.
Really a match made in heaven between players and fans. And these celebrations are going to continue for quite some time. And this is always part of the fun, Lee, the photographs.
Absolutely, one for the scrapbook. Not so sure players have scrapbooks these days, but I've still got mine in the loft somewhere.
So there we have it, the league champions. Kolo Muani. And how about that for reflex action?
Perfect goalkeeping. He waited.
Will it be? Played towards the back post. Who's going to win this joust? could seriously affect their title push.
Well, a few of the players had their hands on the...
And he did his job defensively in search of the equaliser. This could be the equaliser. And in it goes! We can't say yet for sure, but it could be a title-winning goal.
So important that, Derek.
A terrific pass. And a goal it is! What does it mean? Well, it means silverware could be coming their way.
Oh, that's brilliant.
The target, and he's going to be disappointed.
Disappointed? Wow, it's a...
Well, the conditions look pretty good for the counter-attack. And he's through here. And he's made it a brace for himself. The defender's just unable to stay with him. And he's having a field day. In raptures, the other disconsolate. What an ending.
Well, you can talk about the merits of penalty shootouts to decide big tournaments, big games. So much nerves of steel are needed. A little bit of a gamble here and there. Who's going to come out on top? But the end result is there for all to see.
They're not going to forget this in a hurry. A proud moment. But for the losers, it's a case of trying to forget about everything that has just occurred.
Well, just a point, Derek, always be respectful of the losers. Yes, you're in raptures, you're celebrating with your mates. Always took time to go to the opposition and say, unlucky.
The party has started. It's going to be quite the night of celebration here.
Well, it's these moments, Derek, when you get your hands on the silverware and that little medal that goes round your neck might seem small now, but you look back at that, show your grandkids. Absolutely superb memories these players will have of this game.
Yes, a special moment in the career of any footballer. And now for the trophy lift itself. The cup winners.
Yeah, it's been a long old road to get to this point. They're going to celebrate now and certainly celebrate long into the night, I think.
There's always the element of chance in a cup competition, but my goodness, they've taken the rough with the smooth, and now they savour the moment. And this is really special, getting to celebrate in front of your own fans, Lee.
Well, it's giving something back. These fans have travelled all over the place following their team. Now they get to join in the celebrations, go into the crowd and give them the cup, that's what I say.
Well, then it might never find its way to the trophy cabinet, Lee.
Well, all that hard work along the way in this tournament all comes together at the end when you pick the trophy up. Just look at them celebrating, a brilliant moment.
Hard work indeed, Lee. The trophy now in their possession. Big chance to get them on terms. Could be. Oh, can you believe this? Just when it looked as though the door was locked, it's been reopened.
Well,
Has a go. Oh, commanding goalkeeping. And slotted home. Well, his heart might have been fluttering, but he didn't show it. A goal from the spot. A goal to reduce the arrears and give them hope that they can turn this round. Can they get in a real opening now? completely changed the equation. So much pressure. If he fails to score, they lose. And now it is truly final. One team in raptures,